Wesley. Welcome to Automate All the Things. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's exciting. It's been 2 weeks. It's been no more than like 4 weeks almost since I haven't hosted a live stream or this
Oh,
live stream.
wow.
So maybe I'll be a little rusty. Apologies for that, but I am extremely excited to kick this off once again with you. So for maybe to kick this off, let us know if you're in the chat. Colleen's there. I know that the Webflow stream is going on at the same time, so I hate to compete with Nelson. But yeah, welcome everyone. If it's your first time here, Automate All Things, a weekly show where we help folks work smarter, not harder using no-code tools. And I'm so excited to welcome you, Wesley, to talk to us about Stripe's brand new customer portal.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I think a good place to start. Maybe folks are familiar with Stripe, maybe familiar with the customer portal. How about we start with an intro into you and to Stripe more generally?
Yeah, so I'm an engineer at Stripe, working on the customer portal. I've been with the team for about 2 years now, and especially in the past 6 months, we've been working extremely hard to make it as easy as possible for merchants to get started on Stripe,
Mhm.
and especially to allow those merchants to empower their customers to self-manage their account information and continue that ongoing relationship with their customers.
Got it. And so it does seem like Stripe is trying to be more and more no code, right? You're calling it getting started with payments and building their business online. Maybe that's actually a good place to start. So, payment links, now no code customer portal. Talk to us a little bit about like Stripe X no code and how you think about that.
Yeah, so Stripe is really trying to build the payments infrastructure and the economic infrastructure for
Mhm.
the internet. So millions of companies use our tools to get started with accepting payments online, but not only to accept payments, but to really run their businesses
Mm.
and to start their businesses even. And so our goal really with no code is to allow a non-technical founder to get started accepting payments and to begin starting their business as easily as possible. And so with payment links, we allowed merchants to simply create a link and accept payments by sharing that link anywhere online, no code required. And so they could accept one-time payments and recurring payments. And so with the customer portal, after a user has bought your product or subscribed to your subscription, how do they kind of continue that
Mhm.
relationship and self-manage their account information? And that's kind of where the customer portal comes in. And so we're really excited with the no-code customer portal. Just like payment links, you can create a link to your customer portal,
Mhm.
share that link anywhere online, and allow your customers to self-manage their account.
So let's actually kind of contextualize this. I'm sure folks are familiar with payment links, and thank you, Colleen, for dropping that link. We had Joshua on, I think when payment links was launched or near there, talking about payment
Yeah.
links. We did a stream with CJ. I'm gonna have part of the stream, the Stripe a team. One member of every Stripe team has to come to the stream. That's the rule at Stripe. Uh, hopefully, that's something you guys are excited about. But um,
No, we're super excited.
so payment links was like we accept payments, and talk to me a little bit about, okay, how does this, did you see a lot of folks who are like, hey, this is taking up a lot of my time to update credit cards, to cancel, and where do you go beyond kind of customer portal?
Yeah, so a lot of time is spent for a lot of our merchants just like in support
Mm,
interactions. If a customer wants to cancel their subscription, a lot of times companies that are just getting started or are not technical don't really have this platform to just allow their customers to cancel their subscriptions. So customers would have to reach in,
mm,
email, or chat with a support agent and ask to get their subscription canceled.
right.
And that wastes a lot of time for the
Hmm.
company and resources. And so the customer portal really allows the merchant to just plug in this link, and they could send that link directly to the customer or plug it into their website and allow the customer to do all of the functionality that they want to do to manage their subscription, change their payment methods, view their past invoices as
Right.
well, or pay off any past due invoices directly with the customer portal.
Got it. So it's kind of like going that next step after payment link. You've received the payment, but that's just like the start of our relationship with our customer. That customer has many interactions to come, whether they want to upgrade, see all their information. This is kind of like we'll just give a link, just like we do with payment links, and let folks self-manage. So I'm really excited to jump in. So let's go ahead and jump in. But maybe before we do, Wesley, talk to us about if you want to, or maybe you want me to, like, how are we going to demo this? Like, what are the parts? Are we first going to show Stripe and then integrate with the CRM? Talk to me a little bit about what we're going to show off today.
Yeah, so in the past stream with Josh on payment links, we kind of built out creating a payment link and then having our CRM in Airtable, and how do we kind of see updates or payments made on the payment link and see the updates directly in our database
Right.
in Airtable. And so with this stream, we really want to continue that. So after you created the payment link, let's say you're selling a subscription and you want to then continue that relationship with the customer and build out the customer portal and allow them to update their subscription.
Right.
Let's say you have two plans, you want to upgrade or downgrade between plans, or cancel the subscription. How do we see those updates happen in our base in Airtable as well?
Okay. So first we're going to build out that customer portal, and then we're going to link our CRM, which is going to be Airtable because of me, frankly. And then we're going to try to track changes in our CRM because that might trigger additional information, right? If someone downgrades, me want to work less hours, ship less things. And if they need to upgrade, we need to ship more things. We need to do more stuff. So that's the plan for today. So seeing Penny in the chat, I know it's hard to watch two streams at once. I totally get you. I do not have the speed challenge up, but I wish I could. So no, do not feel guilty about that, Penny. So let's jump in here. Okay. So, Wesley, I am on Stripe's like my dashboard, right? And I've already gone ahead and created two payment links, right? We're gonna imagine, where are my payment links? Right. Okay, so I have a premium retainer. That's folks who want to automate all the things. 20 hours a week, or I don't know what $1,000 gets you for automate all the things hours. And then I've got a basic retainer. So both of these are monthly subscriptions, 500 and 1,000. And Wesley, I keep getting calls of people wanting to upgrade, mostly people wanting to upgrade, and it's annoying. So how does the kind of customer portal help me out here?
Yeah, so do you want to get started and start configuring the customer portal now?
Yeah, is there any other information that you think people should know about these two payment links and these products before we jump into the customer portal?
Yeah, so each payment link kind of sells their specific product,
Right.
and that is a payment link ID kind of sells one product ID.
Right.
And so you see this product right here, the premium retainer product. And so you kind of want to link that payment link to this specific product.
Right.
Vice versa for the other payment link.
Right. So one payment link is tied to one product, but our customer portal will kind of self-manage multiple products that we want, right? So the mapping is let me see if I get this right. I have a product that could map to one or multiple prices, and a payment link maps to one product, and a customer portal can map to multiple products.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I think are we ready to just kind of, is it that easy? Can we just go ahead and build our customer portal?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So settings, it's under billing.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you want to talk about why it's under billing, or should we just go ahead and build it?
Yeah, so the customer portal was really originated for the recurring billing or recurring revenue kind of use case,
Right.
where you have kind of a recurring relationship with this business. And so the origins of the customer portal kind of came from subscriptions, but we really want to continue to expand this to really be all of customer management in the future. But yeah, that's kind of why it's under billing.
Got it. And so I just gone ahead and created one, and it generates a link. So this is what I'm going to send folks when they annoy me about canceling, and also what I'm going to send folks when they, bring me a lot of joy and saying they want to upgrade. So
Yeah.
what can we do here in terms of customizations, and how should folks think about this?
Yeah, there's a ton of options here, and it really depends on your use case and your business. And so we could kind of go through each tab here.
Sure.
So invoices, this is basically allowing your customer to view their invoice history. So if you go to the preview on the right and you just scroll down a bit in that preview, you'll
All
see
right.
the invoice history there, and it tells you kind of a basic overview of the amounts, the status of that invoice, what the product it was for, and you can actually click into a link to open up a page with all of those invoice
Mm.
details to download the invoice, and also pay off the invoice if it's not paid yet.
So, and this is, we talked about this in kind of, so Stripe, when you're on a recurring payment plan, views each payment as an invoice to be paid, right? And it can pay it
Exactly.
automatically. And so that's kind of the structure that people need to keep in mind here, that these are, yes, it's payment, but these are actually invoices, and that's how you refer to them in the product. Is that right?
Yes,
Got
exactly.
it. Okay, cool. Let's keep going here. This is really cool. I like the little preview as we change things. That's a very Stripe thing. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah. Thank you. So the customer information, this allows you to kind of choose between which options you want
Mm,
to allow your customers to be able to update. And so let's say you're selling a physical good, maybe shipping address would be useful for you.
right.
But if you're not, maybe you don't need shipping address to be enabled here.
Okay.
But yeah, basically all of these options are available.
Awesome. So yeah, so we're just kind of going through here and configuring the different, and it's kind of, I'm quite surprised that there's quite, you can see that you guys want to go further with this. So that's really exciting. So payment
Yeah.
methods, I don't need to
Yeah.
change
So
that.
so payment methods allows update and updating existing payment methods and adding new payment methods. You can actually configure what payment method
Mm,
types you want to be able to accept. And so we have support for a number of different payment methods already in the customer portal, and we're actively building out even more payment method types. But yeah, you can click that manage button. It'll open up a new tab, I believe, for you to kind of choose between which payment methods you want to be able to accept.
okay. Credit cards, pretty standard. That's what I only
Mhm.
accept. So that looks good.
That's totally fine.
Subscription.
Yeah, so subscriptions, there's a lot of different options for subscriptions. You can allow your customers to cancel subscriptions, pause subscriptions within cancellations.
Mm,
What's really neat is also the cancellation reasons
right.
feature. So after a customer cancels their subscription, you can ask for what was the reason that they canceled the subscription. And they could submit the form and you could see all that information in the Stripe dashboard.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then you can also enable your customers to switch between different plans if you have multiple plans. Also update quantities if you have some like a seat-based kind of subscription, or manage a team with your subscription. Um,
So
and yeah, so one,
I
yeah,
have,
go
I have a
ahead.
question here. So my understanding is that this will somehow authenticate the user, check what they're subscribed to, and then show those. So if you just allow cancel, it's just saying, okay, these are the things you're paying for. You can go ahead and cancel these. But here, if you enable switch, you then have to specify which new products they need to, they can switch between. Is that because you're not saying here are all the things you could potentially subscribe to? It's just saying here is like the page with everything I offer potentially.
Exactly, yeah. So once you enable the switch plans option, you can choose between existing products that you have that you've created in Stripe, and you can add those as options that you want to allow your customer to be able to choose between.
Got it. So here it's saying, okay, you are on the premium retainer, update to, basic, or go ahead
Yeah,
and cancel that plan because I've put both of those options. So that's really cool.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
so scrolling down, just some extra configurations on how you want to handle subscription updates, like whether you want to prorate immediately or invoice immediately and also apply prorations or not. And then also promotion codes.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Cool. So business, this is all pretty basic. Um, okay. So are we ready to try this out? I guess I should buy my own product. That feels like a good step one.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's get let's go ahead
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
let's make myself a customer, and then we can go through the flow, and then we can actually
Yeah,
use myself in Airtable to like manage all of that. How does that sound?
that sounds great. One thing I want to
Sure.
call out quickly is actually, if you want to just like quickly test out the customer portal and
Mm-hmm.
view what it looks like, you can actually go to the customers tab here at the top
Right.
and click into any existing customer that you have. And then on the actions button on the top right, click open customer portal.
Nice.
And this will actually create a portal session in test mode, and you could just kind of view what that customer would see. So this is only available in test mode for test mode customers,
Got it.
but this is a quick way to just spin up the customer portal and see all the functionality that you just enabled.
Okay, so let's do that here. And then I'm curious about the authentication piece, right? So how does it
Yeah,
verify who I am? Um, and so I'm seeing a few folks in the chat. Welcome, Glenn. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Wesley was very afraid of not being able to answer your questions. So I'm hoping that there are at least a few questions that get
yeah,
Wesley sweating a little bit, hopefully. So go ahead and drop
send them
those in.
in.
CJ's not here, right? So the mastermind of Stripe is not here. So there might be a few questions that we let slip by, but we're going to try to answer all of them.
Yeah,
Okay, where were we? We were at, oh yeah, let's go ahead and try this out. So what should we do here, Wesley?
yeah. So if you click into update plan, here you can see those two plans that we
Mm,
put into our portal configuration. So you could switch to the basic retainer plan right now, confirm that update.
nice. Okay, that
There
was
you
easy
go.
actually. And can we
And now,
see, just, I want to take a moment, can we see that in, where can we see that change in the dashboard, just so we can then think about webhooks?
yeah, so if you just refresh this page, you should see like this is the customer detail page. And you'll see now Jeff Smithy is on the basic retainer plan.
Oh, got it. So this is at the customer level, right? We
Hmm.
see that we now have this basic retainer that is active.
Yeah,
If we go over to developers, I also imagine that there was events. That was an event.
yes.
I'm not going to make you walk through all of this, but it seems like there are multiple steps, right? So we cancel the existing subscription, then we go ahead and prorate. There's a lot of math going behind the scenes to make this happen.
Hmm. Yes, yes.
Awesome.
And that's all handled for you and built by Stripe. So you don't have to worry about any of that.
I don't know if this is, I'm sure that part of it is complicated, and making sure that, the different edge cases are cared for. So as everyone who doesn't code, we appreciate it. Thank you, Wesley, for taking care of that for us.
No problem.
Okay. What else do you want to, should we kind of highlight before we start automating stuff from this customer portal?
Yeah, many things, but maybe one thing is like you can update the payment method that's being used for that subscription. Um, yeah, you either there or adding a new
Mhm.
payment method there. So you can add a new payment method here, or you could go ahead and cancel that subscription if you no longer want to
Got it. And we have the
resubscribe.
invoice history.
Exactly. Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, if you click into that, there you have all the details for the invoice, download the invoice, the receipt, view the details.
Very cool. And so if we open this up, we've got our invoice. So this is actually, so as someone who uses Stripe for the ultimate guide to Airtable, by the way, the code is now first 20, not first 10 in the chat. The number one thing I get is, can I get a receipt for my subscription? So this is going to save me, and I'm sure a lot of folks, a lot of time. So I don't know if folks in the chat are excited, but this is a game changer for me personally. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to
Sure.
call out on the customer portal. So you see all of your branding already here.
Hmm.
So all of this is customizable. by you through the Stripe branding settings and also on the customer portal configuration. So you could change the headline there where it says automate all the things partners with Stripe for simplified billing. You can include your own logo. You could customize the return URL there that says return to automate all the things. So all of this branding is customizable to your look and feel.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So that was the, oh no, we want to do the authentication. We want to show how, so how would do I just go to the link in, so let's go to, where was I was in billing?
The settings.
Oh, settings, right. It's under settings.
Yes.
Customer portal. So copy this. Okay. Now in testing, is it actually going to make me validate my email? So it should be my own email?
Yes. So it should be the email of the customer that you want to test for.
Okay. So which is myself.
Hopefully that's yourself.
That is myself. I do test as myself. Okay. So let me just put in my own email.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hide my browser so not everyone can see that I have thousands of unread emails. Which
I'm the same way, so I understand.
Wesley, you're going to see my email and you can confirm that. Okay, we can unhide the browser. There we go. Let me copy paste this. And yes, that is a true number. I do have 10,500 unread emails. Okay, and then it authenticates me. So what it did is that it sent me an email and said, hey, confirm your identity, input the code. And now we're back to where I was with, that plan that I was subscribed to.
Exactly. Yeah. And that login link that you were just using, that is a stable and persistent link that you could share anywhere online,
right.
Through support interactions on your website, on social media. And that link will be alive as long as you want it. So
I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea. So if folks want to have fun here, let's go ahead. So I'm going to share the payment link. Right. So let's say premium retainer. You can subscribe to my premium. I'm going to drop it in the chat. If you want to test this out, go ahead and buy the product. This is a fake product, so just use 4242, right? And then use your actual email. I'll try to hide it throughout to make sure we're not showing it. And then you can authenticate and change your subscription, have fun. So go ahead and have fun with that in the chat and play around with it. This is a live link. Stripe is one of the few links I'm totally open to sharing in the chat. Cool. Okay, well, as folks are doing that, let's talk about, okay, now obviously Stripe is not, my CRM, right? So we're going to imagine that we are in an Airtable CRM, right? And what we want to do is we have our existing customers here. And when someone changes plans, we want to go ahead and change the subscription, maybe change a single select or, whatever it is that we need to update them to. So talk me through how we would do that.
Yeah. So the easiest way really, I think, is to listen to webhooks here in Airtable. So there's a bunch of different webhooks that you can listen to, but specifically for the subscription, you can listen to the subscription updated webhook. And use the information from that to update the information in this table.
Okay, cool. So essentially, we're going to create a webhook in developers, webhooks here that when someone purchases our product or changes plans, let's just do let's do the change plan. I feel like that's the best one.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and send that to say this customer is now on this new plan. And so we're going to monitor that webhook. But first, let's see if what we had built before works. So I had attempted, before this stream started, to create a webhook that when someone buys the payment link, it creates a customer. So let's turn that on and let's see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll debug and then we'll do your webhook. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. Any questions in the chat? I'm feeling like a very calm chat today. So I don't know if it's because people are watching the speed build or people are like really into the customer portal and don't have any questions. I usually have, 10, 15 questions by now. So please don't hesitate in the chat if folks have questions. So Okay, let me just make sure that this works. So we go to payments. No, we go to payment links.
So the payment link should be on the, yeah, that'll work
Hey,
too.
Morella. Okay, so let's see. Let's put my own email. That way we can test it. Okay, we had someone join the payment link, so we can check if that worked. Name on card is Aron T. I live at 123 Empire. Zip 1214. Okay, so I'm paying here. Let's subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're processing the webhooks. Thank you, Morella, for the $1,000. Appreciate it. A month. You didn't just give me $1,000. You gave me $1,000 a month. Okay, so let's see if that worked. Okay, it did work.
Amazing.
Right? So what that means is we now have a webhook. And I'm happy to walk through it if folks have questions about how we built that, but we're going to actually build it again. Right? So we have the subscription that they're subscribed to. So our goal is to change this to the new subscription, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, so what you see there is actually the product ID that is attached to that subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the product represents what you're selling on that subscription.
Right.
And so what Aron has built here is basically when a customer goes through the payment link and subscribes to that product, it creates a record in the base here, the customer base table, and notes that this customer with this email
Mm-hmm.
is subscribed to this product.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So Marilla, I don't want to show your email, so I'm not going to put you in this base, but you're going to be able to change and we'll receive a webhook and we'll do all that good stuff. So appreciate you filling out that little. So I'm just going to keep in mind to not show people's emails here. So I might just quickly hide. Okay. So now that, and just quickly what we did was essentially when a webhook is received, we find the payment link and we create a record, and happy to walk folks through how to do that, but we're going to do it again. So how, Wesley, do we change this subscription? Basically, how do we reflect the new subscription that a customer is on if they go to the portal and change that information?
Yeah, so I think you can listen to a new webhook.
Okay.
So customer.subscription.updated webhook, I believe.
Okay, so a few things here. We're going to create an automation in Airtable that listens to a webhook from Stripe. So first we need to create an automation. So this is customer plan change. I'm not good at naming things.
That's totally fine.
When webhook received, that's going to generate a URL, right? This is what Stripe is going to send the information to. And let's then go to webhooks. We're going to add a new endpoint, URL, and which event do we want to listen to?
Yeah, so if you just search subscription here, it should list like pretty much all the subscription webhooks here. And so the one we're interested in is the customer.subscription.updated. So whenever a change happens to your subscription, this webhook will fire.
Okay.
And so for the people just quickly that aren't familiar with webhooks, I think CJ uses the analogy of a phone number.
Yes.
Essentially, in Airtable, we've created a phone number, which is the webhook endpoint. And in Stripe, we want to tell Stripe, hey, when something changes with this subscription, call or text this phone number, which is the endpoint, and let me know what has changed. And then in Airtable, we can use logic to determine, depending on what has changed with the subscription, make updates on my side.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I just like to say that is CJ's analogy, but I have stolen it. And I'm hoping that I say it enough times that it becomes my analogy. right?
Well, you tend to give credit to CJ every time, so
Good.
we all know it's CJ's
Okay, well, I'm
stuff.
going to stop doing that. This is now my analogy. So thank you for bringing back my analogy. But I love the phone number, and shout out to CJ for just a fantastic way of explaining webhooks. So just like we're having a phone conversation between Stripe and Airtable. So also, quick note here as well, we're probably going to need, if I'm understanding the way you've configured this, we're going to need a different webhook for all the various events, right? Cancellation, and separately, right? So we'll do one, but if we have time, we'll do more. But I would need a different one for the different things I want to track.
Yeah, I think actually for cancellation, you could listen to the subscription.updated webhook as well,
Mm,
but it's probably easier to just listen to the subscription ended webhook,
right. Okay.
so you know exactly the subscription has been canceled.
Okay. Perfect. So let's add that endpoint. Um. Okay. Hey, Harriet. Hey, love the phone number analogy. Absolutely love it. Love it so much. I want to steal it. Um. So let's go ahead and so we have no events. So let's go ahead and put myself in the shoes of myself. That's weird to say. And let's go ahead and change the subscription of myself. Oh, actually, I can just go to customers. Let me just go ahead and go to customers, and let me make sure I'm not showing
Mhm.
anyone's email here. Okay, and let's go into myself. This is just a list of customers. Okay, there we go. This is me. And how can I go to my? Oh, it was on the other side, right? I needed to go into here, and then can you remind me how do I get to my a specific customers portal?
Yeah, so you go to the customers tab and you find the customer you want to look at,
Uh-huh.
and then on that page there should be an actions button on the top right.
1 second. I know folks can't see the screens because I don't want to show people's email here. So I am on the customers. I am
Do you
here.
see the and then there should be an actions button on the top right.
I don't see an actions button.
Hmm. Is this in live mode or test mode?
This is still test mode. I'm going to show my browser again.
Interesting.
It's okay. I could just log in as myself. That's not a problem. Let's go back to my customer portal. Okay, let's go to. It's probably me. The problem is
Oh,
me.
is this a guest customer that was created?
It was a guest customer.
Ah, okay. So that is probably the issue. So in the payment link, we actually want to create a real customer.
Oh, it's because I
And
didn't say keep my payment.
um, that might not be it. Let me
Okay, let's try it
see.
again. Let's just go to the payment link. Go to my payment link right here. Let's subscribe as a premium retainer. And let's give myself a new email. blah@gmail.com 4242 25 123. My name is Wesley Chan 11111. There we go. Okay. This should create a real customer, correct? Or do I need to put a phone number?
You probably don't need to put a phone number, but yeah, let's just try.
I need to put a valid. There we go. That should be good. Subscribe. Okay, so that should trigger the webhook. Let's give it a second as it's processing the different webhooks. Okay, I have subscribed and I've paid my first payment. I can see that that webhook fired correctly. Let me go back to Stripe. And then I'm just going to hide to not show people's emails. I apologize for this. Okay, I am here. And now we see actions. Awesome.
Perfect.
So open customer portal. Okay, let me update my plan to the 500. Okay? Where do we see the what happened after this change. Oh, I confirm.
Yeah. So you could go back to the Stripe dashboard where you were configuring that webhook.
Developers, webhooks, events. Is that right? No, logs.
Events, or you could just look. I think you could click on the webhook that was that you were listening to that subscription updated event, and it should show that event, I think.
This one right here. Customer subscription updated.
Yes.
I'm not seeing an event.
Hmm. Well, okay. So
there we go.
Can try to refresh.
No, I'm messing. I refreshed. It's good. I could see the sweat beating down. It's okay. So what is in this webhook?
Yeah. So basically, all the information on the subscription is on this webhook, and you specifically, I think, what we care about is the product that they're subscribed to and that they've switched to.
Okay, so I see plan and then ID, and I imagine that this is the new plan, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so we see the new plan, and then you also see the price ID, and then scroll down, you'll see the product ID there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we've subscription, we've got everything we need, and I think you also have previous attributes. So you know what people are switching from. So this is actually a good, for folks who want to recreate this in Airtable, I would actually recommend a table that has like events, right? So you can track the old plan and then track the new plan so you know when people switched, right? We're not going to do that. Because for time reasons, but my recommendation is that you actually create a changes table where you have a link to the customer, a link to their old plan, and a link to their new plan, so you can know exactly when they changed. But okay, is that something you would recommend too, or am I just talking through my head?
No, I think that totally makes sense.
Okay.
One thing I was noting is maybe you might want to also include the customer ID on that customer table,
Right.
just so you have a reference instead of just the email. You know exactly which customer.
Do we have the email that comes in through here?
Not sure.
Let's check.
We might not.
Okay, so that we actually need to do that before, right? So we're able to have a key between. So just for folks right now, I'm assuming that the way I associate customers to Stripe is through their email, but that webhook that we're currently receiving doesn't have the doesn't have the email. So we actually need a single line text of customer ID. So I'm just gonna copy paste it, and then if we have time at the end, I'll update my first webhook to include the customer ID. So let me go into customers. I'm gonna hide my screen. This is actually more challenging than I remember. Hide customers. Let me go into myself, and then this is the customer ID. So just back here, this is the customer ID. If I'm doing that correctly, go here, and then this is right here. That's correct, right? Awesome.
Yes.
So great question from Colleen. I'll answer that at the end around how do we do that? What fields in the kind of log of changes. Okay. So we are now ready, I think, to go ahead and receive the webhook. So I think we should already have received one. So let's test the trigger. Okay, so we do have that trigger. Let me see if I can make this a little bit larger. There we go. Okay, so what we want to do is update an existing record. So let's update an Airtable record. That's going to be in customers. And then the record ID, we don't have it. So we actually need to find a record first. So let's go ahead.
Yes.
Find a record. Let's go to customers. Find a records based on a condition. So where customer ID, How familiar are you with Airtable, Wesley?
I started playing around with it last week to prepare for this, and so I've kind of went through this integration myself already once.
Okay, cool. So walk me through it.
Yeah, so right now we want to match which record in that customers table we want to update, and the one we want to match it with the customer ID exactly,
Right. So we're
pretty much.
saying when a webhook is received, go to the customers table, look in the webhook, and find the record that matches that customer ID because we're now passing it on. Let's test the action to make
Exactly.
sure it's working correctly. So it found me, which is what we want, right? Now that we have the record, we can say update that record that we just found. So go to customers, go to step 2, and input the record ID. And now the field we want to update is that subscription. And let's go ahead and add. So which part of the webhook do we want to find this in?
So I think you can go to, is there a data field down here?
Yes.
Yeah, so data, and then object,
I think it's
scroll
going to be
down.
product, product.
It's a little grainy on my side, so I
Oh, okay.
can't
Let me
really
just
see
look at the
exactly.
webhook here. This
Yeah,
might be, let's go to webhooks. No worries. So what we want to find is product, this product that is under plan. So let's go to
yeah.
plan and let's go to product. Does that make sense? Yes, exactly. So we are going to that record and then we're updating the plan with the new ID. So let's generate a
Exactly.
preview. Okay, so it's saying we're going to remove the old one and we're going to update to the new one. Okay,
Yeah.
so that seems to be working. So let's turn this on. And for effect, I'm going to go ahead and add a lookup field that is the plan from subscription. Because if we just change, a linked record, it's not as impressive as if we see the plan change in real
Yeah.
time. So
Beautiful.
right now I am on the basic retainer. No, am I on the premium? Let's check. Go to customers. I want to make sure that we see the switch, right? So let's hide for a moment. Let's go to me. Okay, so I am now on the basic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so here I want to be on basic. So let's actually just run the automation. Let's run as configured. Run test. Perfect. And now if I go to data, I'm on the basic. Oh, let's do this. Let's update. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Confident?
Good. Feel great. Of course.
Okay. So now I need to go to my right here, I think. Can I no, I need to, let's just go find that. I have a, is this it? The login? Yes. Okay. So let's do this. So we're going acornlet blah at gmail.com.
You'll have to enter the exact email that you entered on the customer.
Yeah, I think that's what I had. Hopefully
Okay.
this works. So let me go to my email. Sorry, really hiding my screen today a lot. Okay. Give it a second for the email. And maybe I messed up my email. Okay, let's try that again. Go here.
So you can just check on the customer object that you're looking for, specifically what email was on there, and then enter that exact email.
No, that works. But let's just go to the customer
Okay.
portal here. That seems easier.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here I'm on the basic, which matches what we see here in Airtable. Let me just make sure I have the automation that is on. There we go. I do. Okay, let's update. Let's continue. I'm now on the premium retainer. Let's confirm. Go to Airtable. Yes.
We gotta have the confetti.
You got the
We'll save
confetti.
that for later.
No, we got it. We got it. I got you.
Perfect.
I got you. Great job. That was very impressive. That was very cool. Congratulations. You succeeded on your first Automate All the Things stream, Wesley. Great job.
Amazing.
So yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to show. I do want to get to questions in the chat. So now is a good time. If you do have questions, drop them in the chat. Was there anything you wanted to make sure we cover before we jump into Q&A?
Well, I just want to mention this whole integration to create the CRM is definitely a more advanced feature. And if you want to start using the customer portal and payment links, we have a ton of merchants that are just getting started and don't have to do all of this integration in order to get stuff working.
Right.
There's a lot of merchants that can manage their entire business just through the Stripe dashboard. And we've seen that done before, and that's where no code really shines. And so don't feel like if you're just starting out that you have to do and listen to all these webhooks and create this base in Airtable to get stuff working. You can run your entire business just with payment links and customer portal and the Stripe dashboard.
I appreciate that, Wesley. I will say that if you are watching this in the future and you do find this difficult, I have about 20 streams that walk step by step through everything we've done. So I agree with you, Wesley. Start small, start with just the customer portal. And as you grow, you're going to be able to build some stuff. And I completely agree with Penny that what's the fun in just using one tool, right? If you are not automating all the things, what is the fun?
Yeah.
So I want to get to Colleen's question, which is a little bit of a around how would we track? Let me just try to find the question. I struggle with knowing what fields to put in my Airtable audit log, especially as one starts to track multiple webhooks. Any suggestions? Wesley, do you want me to take this one? Do you want to answer it?
I'll let you take it first.
Sure.
You're the expert at Airtable.
So if I was to create an events kind of log, I would essentially just have a bunch of linked records, right? So I would essentially say, okay, well, who is the customer? So it's almost like a junction table. So I would have a customer field, which would link to my customers table. So let's actually use me as an example, right? So myself, I would have my old plan that would go to subscriptions. And I would say, okay, well, what was my old plan? My old plan was the premium plan. And what is my new plan? Well, it's going to be another link to subscriptions. There we go. And that's going to be basic, right? I went from premium to basic. And that's all you would need, really. Because then you're just saying, okay, these are the changes. And then here, if you go to customers, you have your events automatically linked. So if we want to make this a little bit fancy, because we do have some time, I can look up the plan name. So old plan name. And let's go to old plan. Let's look up plan name. Okay, this is going to be fancy. This is going to be fancy. New plan name, right? And we're gonna go to new plan. We're gonna do the same thing, plan name. And then our primary field, let's do one more thing because we have time and this is a lot of fun. So, you know, a time. So it's gonna be created time. Let's not include, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna say a formula field that goes, you know, customer went from basic retainer to premium retainer at this moment, right? So we're actually using a primary field that has all of the information. So we're just going to call this name. It's going to be a formula. I know I'm like taking over the stream. I'm very sorry, Wesley, but this is exciting.
No, this is beautiful. It's like seeing a master at work.
I wish. We're going to take the name. We're the customer. Do we have this is email, I guess. It's not the end of the world. We're going to say, and went from, and then the old plan. This is going to be old plan, ampersand, just concatenating stuff. New plan, 2, like that, and then new plan. I need old plan name because this is going to give me like that. Here we go. Save that. Okay, thank you, Airtable. Okay, let's delete right. And so Aron went from premium retainer to basic retainer. And then in customers, if I go to the events, I have all of the different switches that customer did. So that is how I would structure the events table to mirror a little bit the events that happen in Stripe. You guys, it's a kind of a JSON. This is more kind of businessy.
Yeah. And I just want to show quickly, like,
Sure.
you could actually view the events that are happening on the subscription if you go to, if you click in on that subscription.
If I go, so where is the subscription? Here?
So it's on right there. Yep. And if you scroll down on this page, there should be like an events log at the bottom.
Events log. Right here, events.
Yes. So
Okay.
you could actually track kind of like in sequence what is the updates and changes that are happening to the subscription. And these event logs are actually available on every single like type of object. So even on the customer object, you can see the different events that are happening within this customer just by scrolling down on that page of that object.
Yeah. And there's a great mention from Glenn around, can we track the price? Now, it's great that you're pointing out this log because, Glenn, it's not only about what is the change in price of the plans, which is what we cover here. So you might say like, oh, a customer went from 1,000 to 500, and so the delta is $500, but that is not the case. In fact, the delta might be a little different because there's a prorated concept here. So if you're charging by the day or by the month, the amount change is not equal to the price difference between plans. And that's a great point, Wesley. Like here, you guys have calculated the difference in price. So this might be a more precise log of what that customer owes. And this might actually be a more thorny question that people are like, hey, why did I get charged $82.67? And you go to Airtable and you're like, oh, actually, I have no idea because your delta is $500. You can go to the event and understand what the prorated value is. Does that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And even on the customer portal, when a customer is updating their subscription, if you have prorations enabled, we have like an exact explanation of
Awesome.
the cost that you're paying right now, the cost that you'll be paying the next month, and kind of the line items of whether you're receiving a proration credit, you're receiving credit from the previous month, you have a promotion code. All of that is listed out when you're updating your subscription as a customer as well.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, that was, everything. Let me know. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. Oh, there is one question, Colleen, which is around any bases or CSV files you can use to start creating from scratch. To answer that, I would actually go to Wesley's point, and you don't need an Airtable base. You can actually just start with the payment link and the customer portal, and then if your business takes off, you can build stuff behind it. And I will link to this base in the description if folks want to repurpose it. But it's relatively simple. So
yeah, and I think one of the easiest ways is you could, if you have like a recurring business model where you're selling something on a specific day you provision or you ship out that product, it's very easy to, on the Stripe dashboard, like export a CSV of all your customer objects or your subscriptions, and just use that information to determine manually what you want to, the customers you want to send this product to, the shipping addresses, all of that information.
Fantastic. So we have a few minutes here. Wesley, any either parting words, things to keep in mind before we sign off today?
Yeah, we're really excited about the no code customer portal. This login page and this link that you can now share online, we're really excited to see all the different ways that our merchants will begin using this. There's so many different ways that you could share this link, and it's really exciting to see like the different types of automations, especially that you could build with it. And let's say you want to send an email with the link every time a subscription is about to cycle, to remind the customer that their subscription is they're about to be billed for their subscription. Maybe they want to change their credit card. You could create that automation in Airtable and include the link to the login page and send it directly to the customer. On subscription payment failures, you could do that. If you're using a trial, you could do that. And you could customize all of that. You could also, Stripe actually has a bunch of these emails also built out for you. If you go to your settings dashboard and go to subscriptions and emails, you could send these emails directly. Just Stripe will send them for you whenever these events happen. But if you want more customization, you could build that automation through Airtable as well. And we're just really excited to see all the creative ways people will begin using this. And yeah, super excited to see all the merchants that will be able to run their businesses on Stripe because of this.
Yeah, well, new businesses, saving time for existing businesses, automating all the things. Wesley, this was a joy to have you on and build with you. So really appreciate you coming on. Wesley P. Chan on Twitter. Make sure to give Wesley a follow and go to the Stripe Developers YouTube. Give them a subscription as well. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a true pleasure.
Yeah, and if anyone has any feedback or questions on how to use the customer portal, please reach out to me directly at wpc@stripe.com. More than happy to help you out.
Fantastic. Well, really appreciate that. Everyone, it was a pleasure to have you join us. I hope you learned something. I will be back next week with how to add Algolia search to any Webflow website. I am super excited. Thank you, Penny, Colleen, Glenn, Mirella, everyone for joining. I will see you back here next week. And Wesley, thank you again for coming, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Aron.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great week.